Hollywood Actor Podcast with Valente Rodriguez, Part 2.
It'll make you more confident, and there's nothing in Los Angeles that people want more than confidence. If you walk into a room being extremely confident, you could actually suck, and they might still give you the job because you're so confident.
That's how I try to live my life, though. I'm maybe not with the confidence, but moving forward, always pushing forward, always trying to learn, to grow as an artist and as a human being. That was really drilled into us at the Adler Conservatory. But I'm always trying to build, because that's the one thing that people can't take away from you. You can show up with that unique look, your own set of experiences, and there's always going to be people that are prettier than you, that have more experiences, that are better connected. But the one thing people can't say is they don't keep trying. Get out of here, because there's another office you can go to. There's another something you can submit to. And now in 2019, we can be creating our content. We can connect with our colleagues much more seamlessly. I love all the opportunities that we're finding now for ourselves, all that control that we're able to reassert.
And that's a new world, man. That's a new world that didn't exist when I was coming up in '87. Which is really cool these days, because these days you actually, if you had, and one of my advice, not for actors, but for filmmakers, my advice for filmmakers is don't go to Hollywood. Let Hollywood come to you. You stay where you are, and you write your stuff, and you film your stuff, and you go do your stuff. Don't worry that you don't have the crane you need. Don't worry that you don't have the whatever that you need. You will find a way to do the stuff that you need to do. Necessity is the mother of invention. One of the reasons Rodriguez was sucked up in Hollywood wasn't because he's the greatest of all time, was because people looked at him and went, "Oh crap, you did that with that little money? That's the stuff you did? Well, I can't imagine what you're going to do if we give you millions of dollars," right? And so one of the problems that I find with Los Angeles is that you come to LA, maybe you're a writer, maybe you're a filmmaker, and you look around and you're like, okay, I can do all those kinds of things, all the things that they're doing, that writing, I could do that, but I really want to work on my stuff. But then you don't work for a year or two or three or whatever. And so you go, okay, well, I'm going to write something like that over there, that thing that just sold, and you write it and it sells. And you go, oh. So you write another one and it sells, and another one it sells, another one it sells, it sells. But then what it does is it homogenizes you. It takes your original voice away and adds you to the pile of all the other voices that are already there, that are already telling the stories. And that's what LA does. If you stay in your hometown, if you stay where you are, you're not going to be corrupted. You're not going to get the virus of Hollywood, that easy thing that everybody else is writing. That easy thing that everybody else is doing, that's making the money, and it's paying their visa bills, and it's paying their kids going to private school, but it's not really the work that you wanted to do. That vibrant voice that you had, that beautiful energy you had, now all that's squashed because you came to LA and you joined that struggle. Now for actors, it's different because we can't do it by ourselves. We have to have an audience, and somebody has to pay us money to then have a camera and lights and all this other kind of stuff. But as a filmmaker, you could do a 20-minute film that can, vault you to the next place, instead of having to come to Los Angeles and do it all in Los Angeles. You can do the same for actors if you go to Chicago and you go to Dallas and you go to Austin, but eventually most of those people are going to end up in Los Angeles. And even the people that are still based in Texas, at one point, had to come to LA to establish themselves, and then they could move to Texas because now they already have a name. And once you got a name, well, you can then do whatever the hell you want. You fly into LA to audition, or they will call you, or they will set up some other kind of, FaceTime or something. But to be able to... Actors ask me all the time, so what is it? What's the secret? What's the secret? What's the secret? What's the secret? And the two things I can come the closest to revealing any kind of secret, and they're not really secrets, sorry to tell you, but the two things that are the closest, I think, is one, perseverance. Keep at it, brother. Keep at it. over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Just go, 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 go. And number two is, how unique are you? How are you like Danny DeVito looking unique, right? That's pretty damn unique. Do you have the unique talent of a Lucille Ball, right? Are you as good looking as Brad Pitt? That sort of unique, you know? Are you just a tall and gangly person that people, whenever they see you, they do a double take because you got that sort of, you know? And so that newness, that uniqueness, and your perseverance are the two things that are gonna get you through. That's one of the reasons that LA is kind of friendly to the people, to the brand new people, because everybody wants to discover the next Brad Pitt. Every single casting director wants to brag and say, "Oh yeah, you know, I'm the one that gave him his first job. I'm the one that first spotted that talent inside that person, or whatever the hell it is." And so they're
Well, if what you're
always looking
saying
for
is
somebody.
Hollywood homogenizes the people that come here, so it
Yes,
does seem that they'd be really excited to see those very
somebody
unique
new.
voices.
Yeah,
Because they haven't been corrupted. It's like a breath of fresh air. They're bringing themselves to the machine.
completely, completely. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
And that must have been you when you were going from salsa and then starting to plug into the co-stars like ER and Mad About You.
Totally. I was completely looking for what they wanted. It wasn't at the beginning, I was looking at parts and I wasn't looking for what does this part say to me? How is it that I would interpret it? What makes this part the most unique? My first thought was, how can I do this so I get this job? Right? So I'm already out of my head. I'm already out of my brain. I'm already out of my acting head. I'm not thinking character. I'm not thinking through line. I'm not thinking beats. I'm not thinking what do I want, blah, 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 blah. I'm thinking, what are they looking for? How do I do it so I get this job? Which, you know, when you're hungry and you got to pay bills and you got to do all that stuff, I don't fault anybody for that. I can't fault anybody for not for wanting money because they're hungry or pay bills or they got kids or whatever, right?
It
But
makes sense from a business perspective, almost.
completely, and it's totally a business. I mean, if they're not making money, they're not in business anymore. You're not making your second film if your first one doesn't make money,
And filling
right?
in a gap in the market, seeing
Right.
what's out there, how much work there is in terms of you plugging in and trying to beat out the competition.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy because and every single one is different. Every single journey is different. So, you know, when I'm asked what is the through line, how do you get there? What is the plan? It's like I whatever you, if your desire to do what it is, to do this thing, this acting, this painting, this music, this whatever it is such that you're just going to go until you succeed, then that's what you need. I don't know what else to tell you. I can't say the whitest teeth get the job. That's not, you know, the biggest ear. No, that's not. Whoever can jump the highest, well, no, that's not it either. You know, there is no, all of a sudden, sometimes it's just timing. Sometimes it's just being at the right place at the right time. Sometimes it's just having the brown eyes and everybody else has blue. And you're the one with the brown eyes, so you get the part. Sometimes it's as random as that. Again, though, it's how well are you going to do that part that's then going to open up the other parts for you, open up the other doors. And one person, I did a movie in 1988. A guy was a stand in, a person who stands in for another actor to either do a stunt or do something dangerous, right? Because you don't want your actor dying. You'd rather have the stand in die. So this dude, this stand-in, okay, you know that movie La Llorona that just
That
came
sounds
out?
familiar. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the movie just came out. He's the director on that. So from being a stand-in to now directing, and actually I think for 1 week it led the box office for the very first week, I think. And so that person that you meet there 20 years later might give you a job because now he's directing a movie. That other, the other person that you meet over there. So the idea of doing your best work, yes, it's because you always want to do your best work and because you want this particular product to be really, really good. But you also want to do your best work because there are always people around you looking at you, watching your work, working with you. And so then 20 years, I didn't get the part. I went and auditioned. He called me in for it. He remembered me, and so that's the sort of connection that you want to make. That's the kind of actor that you want to be. That's the kind of artist you want to be, period. That's the kind of human being you want to be, period. The kind where when somebody mentions your name, it brings a smile to somebody's face, or they say, oh, yeah, that guy's good, or that guy's dependable, or that guy can do it, that woman, So that's the the nuts and bolts on the other side of the fame, on the other side of the celebrity. The red carpet is nice. Limos are nice. Flying first class is nice. Staying at big time hotels for the upfronts in New York City is really, really nice. But that's not what it is. That's the icing on the cake. That's not the meat and the potatoes of it. The meat and the potatoes of it is the stuff you did to get you to that place. And it's very seductive. It's a very seductive place to be. Limo shows up at your house. You get in the car. They drive you to the airport. Somebody's at the sidewalk. Somebody from the airport is at the sidewalk taking your bag and walking you through everything. You don't even got to go through security. Right to the plane with the door, through the door into the thing. And you're sitting there in first class with champagne, and you're like, what the hell did just happened? It usually takes me 3.5 hours to get through the airport. And now in 2 minutes, I'm sitting in and so that can be very seductive.
But that comes on the heels of building a reputation, a work ethic, being personable. And it sounds like that's what you were doing when you first came to town.
It does. It is. Sometimes it comes easy, a little more easier than that because, because of the business nowadays, internet, YouTube, viral memes, viral whatever. It's a little easier to get to the celebrity and the fame part of it these days than it was beforehand. Which is fine. However you make it, brother. I don't cast aspersions on anyone. I don't. If you start in reality and then you become a great actor, great. If you whatever, use the tools that you have, right? Use the tools that you have to get to the places you want to be. But yes, so I got to LA. I got this movie. 8 weeks worth of work. I put all that money in the bank. I went and I found a theater company, the Los Angeles Theater Latino Theater Company. And so most major theater work that's come out of LA, Latino theater work, has gone through these guys. Evelina Fernandez is the writer, and Jose Luis Valenzuela is the director. He's a professor at UCLA as well. And so then spent 4 to 5 years there doing plays. And doing episodics as well. I did Golden Girls and Falcon Crest and all this other kind of stuff, and then left that to move towards a different theater company because the theater company is extremely good. They're very, very good, but I didn't want to be. All they do is Latino work, and so I wanted to do more than Latino work. And so I left them and went and found another theater company called the Eclectic Theater Company, and did plays there. And then all the while auditioning for TV and film, and along the way I got Volcano and Aaron Brockovich and all these other movies. And then 2002, 15 years after I'd already gotten to LA is when I booked George Lopez, which is totally an amazing story as well in itself. It's just crazy. I had So I got the script for it. It's a sitcom, right? It's 45 pages. And I read it and I thought, excuse me, I thought, oh my God, I can do this part. In the way where you might look at a part, you might read a part and go, oh, I could do that part. I'm totally confident I can do that part. I'm, this dad, this, he's not a 7'2" black man who could dunk a ball. He's a 5'6" Latino, round and chubby like me. And so totally confident that I could do the part. And then on top of that, um, not a lot. There's not a lot there weren't back then, period, nothing at all. There were no sitcoms. There were no Latino sitcoms. We were the first one on the air. And then after that came Brothers Garcia and Greetings from Tucson and Resurrection Boulevard and all that kind of stuff. And even those that started then, we outlasted. We started first, then they started, and then they went away, and then we were still on the air. That's not to say that I'm bragging about the George Lopez show. That's to say how bad the industry was in terms of Latino product on the air. And for the George Lopez show, there's 3 male parts. There's George. Well, that part's taken. There's the little kid. Well, that part's 8 years old. I can't audition for him. And there's Ernie, right? And so everybody and their dog was auditioning for Ernie. The first time I went in for Ernie, there must have been 150 names on the list. There were just reams and pages and pages. They give you a little sign-up sheet, right? And there's like, I don't know, 35 lines, and there's 35 names, and there's like, I don't know, 20 pages, 25 pages, a whole bunch of, so everybody's auditioning for Ernie. I went in 7 times. They kept calling me back and calling me back and calling me back and calling me back.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's crazy because it was the only thing available, and so then fortunately I got the job, and that was a whole nother world as well. I mean, that's the best of worlds as far as weekly acting, to be on a series, because we had, I think the least amount of writers we had was 11. We had 11 writers, and they know you because they see you work every week. And so then they are writing specifically for you. And that's amazing.
Incredible.
It is. It's totally incredible.
Did it remind you of your summer stock, your theater days?
Completely. Yes. Yes. And especially because we were on the air for a while and we did 120 shows. And we really started to become very tight, not just with the cast, but the crew as well. And we would we would have barbecues outside our stage, and every single major holiday we would celebrate on the stage. We had dinners where it would be like a potluck dinner. We did Secret Santa. We did all that sort of stuff. And so, yeah, very much so, very much so. And in talking to and with my experience after that, and even before that, I know that a lot of times it's not like that. A lot of times it's not like that. It's a business, and so people will come in, do your work, and go home. And so it's a lot of times it's not that tight. But that's what we had, and I don't know whether it's our culture or whether that we had all been. I mean, George has been working for 20 years till then, and Constance had also been working for a while, and so had Belita, and so all of us understood how precious that opportunity was. And I think that's why we cherished it and we valued it a whole bunch. But that's amazing. That's the best of worlds to be, and you're making a huge amount of money. That's a large chunk of money. Now the government's taking most of it, but you still get enough money.
That's incredible, though, for the for the work, obviously, but then that practice, that repetition, and then being part of that familial unit, which we so rarely get, especially for such a duration of time. I mean, That's such a fantastic opportunity.
Yeah, it is. It is. And again, you're right when you say it kind of harkens back to summer stock. Because you're together with the same group for hours and hours and days and weeks and months and years, and you become very at ease with them. You become very at ease with yourself. You trust them, and you become very confident in working with each other. And I hearken it. When I was young, I was very athletic. I played baseball and football and basketball, all those kind of things. But I hearken it to like a really good team coming together after having played together for so long, or a really good double play combination, a really good, a point guard who can throw the ball up in the air, alley-oop to the guy who's going to jump high in the air and grab it and dunk it. You got to be really, really precise in what you do. But because you do it over and over and over and over, it looks like nothing. It looks like these guys are running down the court and throwing the ball up from their knees, and it gets exactly to where they do. And that's a sort of energy that when a scene starts working, that's the kind of energy that I feel. This almost not thinking. You're almost not even thinking, and it's happening because you're trusting yourself. You're trusting your instrument. You're trusting to your fellow actor, because even if I fall, I know that you're going to pick me up, and we're going to find something. We're going to make it work. And I think that's back on the training and the experience. The more you have of that, the more confident you're going to be. And again, confidence is key.
Thanks for listening to the Hollywood Actor Podcast. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to rate and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening.